Breaking news! Speculation is back and it's louder than ever. Mark Andrews might actually be on the trade block again. Yes, you heard that right. One of the most iconic names on the Ravens roster, a consistent playmaker, and a fan favorite. His name is circulating in NFL trade rumors once more. But what's fueling this? Why now? And what does it mean for Baltimore's future? We're diving deep into this situation right now. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens!" Let's get straight to it. The trade rumors involving Mark Andrews first sparked earlier in the offseason, especially around draft time. At that point, they seemed to fade into the background as the Ravens made no drastic moves. But now, thanks to fresh analysis from NFL.com and insiders circling around the league, the chatter has resurfaced with real momentum. It's not just idle speculation, there's actual discussion about what the Ravens might gain, financially and structurally, by moving their veteran tight end. Here's what we know. Andrews, who turns 29 this year, has been one of Lamar Jackson's most trusted targets. He's a red zone threat, a consistent chain mover, and he brings an undeniable presence to the offense. In 2023, despite battling injuries and a crowded receiver room, he still led the team in receiving touchdowns. But that playoff performance? It's impossible to ignore. Another fumble, another critical drop, and most glaring of all, 0 career playoff touchdowns. That's a narrative that's starting to overshadow his regular season success. The timeline of concern really starts back on January 19th, right after the painful loss to Buffalo. Not only did Andrews have critical miscues in that game, but he also skipped locker cleanup day, a move that raised eyebrows. Then came the cryptic comments from GM Eric DeCosta at the Combine in late February, hinting vaguely at uncertainty around Andrews' future. In April, just days before the draft, he and Rappaport openly stated that Andrews' status with the team was very much up in the air. And even though no move was made during the draft, that cloud of doubt never fully disappeared. NFL.com analyst Brooks Osasimo recently reignited the fire by suggesting that Andrews could be a valuable trade asset, especially for a team like the New York Jets. Think about it. The Jets are desperately trying to elevate their offense around new quarterback Justin Fields. Their tight end room lacks proven depth, and while they did draft LSU's Mason Taylor, there's no guarantee he can step in and produce at an elite level right away. Andrews could bring immediate credibility and veteran leadership to that group. But this isn't just about what Andrews could do elsewhere, it's about what trading him could mean for Baltimore. Releasing or trading him would free up $11 million in cap space. That money could be redirected toward extending young foundational players like Kyle Hamilton, Tyler Linderbaum, Travis Jones, and even Isaiah Likely, who, by the way, has looked increasingly like a potential star in his own right. With Andrews on the field, Likely benefits enormously, but there's also an argument to be made that Likely could truly break out if given full TE1 responsibilities. So here's where things get really complex. The Ravens are in a position of strength, loaded with offensive weapons, from Derrick Henry in the backfield to Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins out wide. Todd Monken's system is built around versatility and explosive playmakers, and it's fair to question whether Andrews is still central to that vision. Monken may love the weapons he has, but when you have as much firepower as Baltimore does right now, letting go of one big piece might be a sacrifice worth considering. Then there's the long-term view. Andrews is a free agent in 2026. If the Ravens don't re-sign him and he walks, they'll get a compensatory pick, likely a 2027 fourth-rounder. But if they trade him now or at the deadline, could they land something better? A second or third rounder? Maybe even a player in return? That's the gamble. It's a tricky equation of value now versus value later. And don't forget, the trade deadline isn't until November. If Andrews starts the season off solid, not spectacular, and if Isaiah Likely starts looking like an all-pro, that's when the Ravens might truly consider pulling the trigger, especially if another team gets desperate due to injuries or poor offensive performance. But the biggest question is this: what's Lamar Jackson's stance? Lamar and Mark have undeniable chemistry. Jackson has often looked Andrews' way in critical moments. Removing that safety net midseason could rattle the offense. But on the other hand, if the Ravens believe in their depth and if the compensation is worth it, this could be the moment they transition to a new era at tight end. So what do you think, Ravens flock? Should the team consider trading Mark Andrews? Or is he too important to this offense, too much a part of Lamar's rhythm, and too valuable as a leader in the locker room to let go? And here's where things get even more layered. Because the Ravens are not just looking at 2025, they're trying to set themselves up for long-term sustainability. And when you think about Mark Andrews through that lens, things start to shift. Look at it like this. You have a 29-year-old tight end who, while still productive, has peaked athletically. He's no longer the fresh-legged playmaker who broke onto the scene in 2019. You've also got an offense that's been steadily evolving. Lamar Jackson isn't just tucking and running anymore. With the addition of Todd Monken as offensive coordinator, the system is more balanced, more creative, and more demanding of tight ends in both route running and blocking versatility. Now imagine Monken having Isaiah Likely fully unleashed. We've already seen flashes of what he can do. Likely's athletic profile is scary good. He's faster, more agile, and arguably has more upside as a vertical threat. But that upside can't be fully tapped as long as Andrews is taking the lion's share of the snaps. And from a team-building standpoint, this is where General Manager Eric DeCosta might see an opening. DeCosta is a chess player. He's always thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. Trading Mark Andrews now, or even midway through the season, could be one of those strategic sacrifices. Yes, you lose an elite contributor, but you gain financial flexibility, future draft capital, and the chance to fully elevate your younger core. That's not just about Likely. That's about Hamilton, Linderbaum, Travis Jones, and yes, even Bateman if the team still believes in his long-term value. Those guys need to get paid. The cap won't wait. And then there's the wild card, injuries. The NFL is unpredictable. All it takes is one tight end room to collapse somewhere in the league and suddenly Mark Andrews becomes the most sought-after trade target. A team like the Chargers, desperate to give Justin Herbert more weapons. A playoff hopeful squad that loses its top TE and needs a plug-and-play veteran. You better believe the Ravens will be getting calls. That's where the timing becomes critical. Trading Andrews before the season? Risky. It could destabilize the offense. But waiting until the deadline? That allows the Ravens to gather leverage. If Andrews starts strong and stays healthy, his trade value spikes. And if Likely starts to shine, that makes the decision even easier. You can move Andrews while maximizing return and minimizing disruption. Now let's flip to the locker room dynamic. Make no mistake, Mark Andrews is beloved. By Lamar, by the coaching staff, by fans. But being beloved doesn't always align with team priorities. If the front office believes that Andrews' best days are behind him, and they think Likely can step into that leadership void, the decision gets a lot less emotional and a lot more analytical. That's what this business is. And we also need to consider how this could affect Lamar Jackson. Removing his most reliable red zone target could feel like ripping away his security blanket. But if Lamar is truly maturing as a passer, and all signs point to that being the case, then maybe it's time to spread the wealth more. Zay Flowers is going to demand more targets. Hopkins still has gas left in the tank. Bateman wants to prove himself. Even rookies like Devontae Walker are pushing hard in OTAs. There are mouths to feed. So maybe this isn't about whether Mark Andrews can still play at a high level, because he can. Maybe it's about whether Baltimore is ready to prioritize a more balanced and unpredictable offensive attack, led by a rising crop of young talent and backed by a financial plan that keeps the core together for years to come. Let's not forget, if no deal happens, the Ravens still win. Andrews plays out his contract, they possibly get a compensatory pick, and Monken keeps one of his top weapons for another title run. It's a win-win either way, depending on what the team values most, present firepower or future flexibility. Now here's the question I want to leave you with as we close out this 2-part breakdown. If the right team comes knocking, offering a second-round pick and maybe a developmental player, should Eric DeCosta make the move before the trade deadline? Or is the risk of disrupting Lamar Jackson's rhythm and losing a fan favorite too high a price? Let us know in the comments right now. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive Ravens content every single day. There's a video on screen now with even more insider updates you don't want to miss. We'll be covering every twist and turn all season long, so make sure you're locked in. Go Ravens!